Alex Bregman has just won his first Gold Glove, and the Houston Astros, did they send a cryptic message on Twitter? They have until 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on Monday to make him an offer he can't refuse. Let's talk about it right now.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you joints for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talks Astros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
Hey, guys, you can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Astros411 on X and on Facebook, and at Back to the Bullpen on X, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on iHeartRadio. Look, I'm always positive, always Stros. I want to send a shout out to my grandson tonight, Avon. Avon is watching me live. Hey, buddy, thanks for watching your Pop live on Locked On Astros.
Hey, guys, you should be like his grandson and go and watch us every day. Become an everydayer and make us part of your daily routine, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place $5 bet, and you can get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started today. So, Brett, I think Alex Bregman just got a little bit more bang for his buck, so to speak, by winning the Gold Glove. We'll talk about that. There's a whole bunch of insiders that have offered Ari Alexander some insight into what they predict Alex Bregman's going to be worth on the open market and where he's expected to go. Also, Gerrit Cole opts out of his deal with the Yankees. Does that mean he's leaving the Yankees, or is this a ploy for them to maybe re-sign Gerrit Soto? Not Gerrit Soto, but Gerrit Soto, Juan Soto. We don't know, but these are all the topics we're going to be talking about on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. So let's start with Alex Bregman first. First Gold Glove. Go ahead, Brett.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's well deserved. You know, the reason why I put Corbin's comment up here first is because Matt Chapman was the person that basically was the reason why he didn't win Gold Gloves all those years. I think it's a bit criminal that this is his first Gold Glove, because we know what kind of elite third baseman he is. We know what kind of drop off that occurs in the Astros organization if he is no longer in an Astros uniform. So, you know, he goes out, he wins it. It's the year he's going to win a contract, but I want to know, does this mean anything? On X, the Astros tweeted our Gold Glover. Now, technically, he's their Gold Glover until Monday, you know, when he has the open market. But in all seriousness, I think he deserved it this year. I think with what this team went through, with the kind of leader he became, you know, he was the vocal leader in the clubhouse. The things we're going to talk about tonight, and someone's probably thinking, well, gosh, I thought we talked about this. Well, Ari Alexander, a local news reporter for KPRC Channel 2, we've had him on the show tonight. And what's up, Avon? And I've talked to him about coming on here in a couple weeks. Ari's got more involved within the clubhouse stuff and really has a good pulse of the team, right? And some of the things we're going to talk about, he went out and got insiders from the industry, executives that basically he gave them anonymity so they could speak freely. And so we're going to go over those different offers that they think Alex Bregman could garner. Does this mean Alex Bregman is not a Houston Astro because of the Gold Glove? I don't think so. But it just makes you wonder if that makes the Astros say, maybe we do need to hold on to this guy, because in the last year before he went to free agency, he won a Gold Glove. So defensively, he hasn't declined. He's the leader of the clubhouse. So what do you think, Eric?
Well, going back to the third baseman, he was the third baseman for the 2024 season. If you rent a car it's technically our car, even if it's just for a couple of days. So I think they're saying that our third baseman. So that goes to that tweet. So until, like you said, tomorrow at 5 p.m. or 4 p.m., he is their third baseman still. So there's a lot of things that will factor into this. Like I talked about, it's not just about the money. It's not just about how long. It's about the Astros' willingness to get Bregman to buy in to what the Astros are doing. The farm system is weak at the moment. It's 29th or 30th right now. And I know you're going to say that the AAA team won 93 games, but most of the top prospects are at the triple A level. You have some at the single A level, but you just don't have the quality depth that most teams have. That's because of everything that's happened, and that's why you had to go out and get all those pieces the Astros did through the waivers and everything that they did last year. So Alex Bregman is a piece that they need. So does him winning the third base, the Gold Glove, does that change how the Astros see him? No. They know he's a Gold Glover. He should have won 4 already. This should be his 4th. That's probably what the Astros are thinking. That doesn't up his value to the Houston Astros. To other teams, probably it might give them maybe a little bit extra money, but to say a potential Gold Glover to saying actually winning a Gold Glove, that does have some merit. So to answer your question, it does help them.
No, yeah, definitely. I think it does. Now, this is what's key before we get into this. I actually found a little mini timeline here. November 4th, free agency begins at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. November 5th and 7th, the general manager meetings are in San Antonio. I think I need to suddenly take a trip to San Antonio. November 19th, qualifying offer deadline to accept or decline. November 22nd, non-tender deadline. And then in Arlington, December 9th to the 12th, the MLB winter meetings will be in Dallas this year. So I said Arlington, that it'll be up there in Dallas. So we've got some key things. The GM meetings this week. I think Ari Alexander is going to try to come on the following week after that. I had talked to him tonight, and he said with the GM meetings, he's going to be tied up. But I think it's interesting because we've seen teams make some moves. We've seen a couple trades. The list of free agents out there is, this is a wild free agency. There are a lot of people that are headlining this free agency. Juan Soto, Corbin Burnes, Alex Bregman. That's just 3 of the top names that are out there. There are so many, Eric, and it just makes you wonder who's going to spend, where are they going to go? Juan Soto even said, I'm open to all 30 teams. Now, a lot of people in New York say, he's just saying that because he's got to say that for business. But another thing, I don't know if you know this, Hunter Brown hired Scott Boras as his agent. Maybe you mentioned that the other day.
No, I didn't, but I saw that.
Okay. But yeah, so, he hired Scott Boras. So he's teeing up for when he comes up in a few years. So he's prepared. So look, does the route that Boras and Bregman take, where they explore all the options, but they say we really want to stay in Houston, but we're going to field these offers, see if maybe we can get the Astros to up the ante a little bit. Look, I know we want Tucker, but I wouldn't mind signing Bregman. I just don't know. Everybody says, well, what about 5 years from now? You don't know. That's the unknown. And so Alex Bregman, you'll lose a leader. You'll lose an experienced 2-time champion, and you'll lose now a Gold Glover.
Yeah, and a lot of what Bregman brings is beyond. It goes beyond what he could do on the field. He is a leader, and so it's just the Astros need to make a decision. Do they go and bring him back? Do they go and move on? What options can they have if they do move on from Bregman? Some big names were linked to the Astros in an article I read this week, and we'll go and talk about that in a little bit. Also, the quiet period is over as of 4 p.m. tomorrow. So does that mean if he doesn't sign Does that mean Bregman's gone? So these are conversations we'll have next. Guys, thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go and check us out.
That's right. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. I mean, if you were watching that Seattle versus LA Rams game, that would have been a game that you would want to keep up with, because they went into overtime. What's going to happen? Who's going to win? It was a great finish to a great game. Just visit FanDuel.com today to join, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets with your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook for the NFL.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and check us out on your Amazon Fire TV stick. All you have to do is download the free channels app and go ahead and watch Brett and I on your big screen TV, your projection TV, however you want to make us your first listen. We don't care, just as long as you do it. So
what if they have one of those TVs like when Thriller came out and we watched it on my friend's TV? It was a projector TV where you open up this latch and it had the 3 bulbs. It had the blue, the yellow, and the red.
I had one of those for a while there.
But you know what I realized now, because I actually saw one of those somewhere. You could hardly see the screen, but we were like, that is such a clear picture, and you couldn't see crap. We were
technology is a lot better nowadays than it was back then. But I know that the Astros are looking at what they can do if Bregman doesn't come back. I know a lot of people have been mentioning Bryce Matthews. I did read an article over the weekend that I think it was just a Q&A with Brian McTaggart, and he was saying that a lot of scouts say that Matthews doesn't have the arm to play third base at the major league level. So we'll have to see. But before we focus too much on who can replace Bregman at third base, because that person is not a free agent, let's go and look at what's the insiders are saying about Alex Bregman. This is from an article from Channel 2, Ari Alexander. This is from him. So Brett,
sorry about that. Here we go. So he's so these are executives. I don't know if they're GMs. I don't know if they're front office. I think it's a mixture of both. Insider One says he can see a 6-year, $180 million deal. That would be $30 million per year. Insider number 2 says he should probably get something around 6 years, $172 million. That's where I think a lot of people have him closer to that. Insider number 3 said 5 years, 125 with an opt-out after 2025. Opt-outs are always attractive to players. You know, if Bregman signs with the Astros and they give an opt-out year, that gives him a chance if they don't end up, doing what they want to do, or he doesn't see the future being very bright. I think that's mainly with another club too.
Or with more money too.
Right, with more money. Insider 4 saying 6 years, 150. Now, Eric, we got 150 on the table, 180, 172, 125, and they are all between 5 and 6 years. I don't think Bregman's going to get more than 6 years. I think he's going to get 5, maybe a 6-year option. Do you think there's a club out there that will go 7?
Well, Insider 7 did say 7 years, $175 million. Then you have Insider 5 that says 5 years, $135 million. But I think it just depends on the bidding war. Is there going to be a bidding war? We know that Bregman is the best third baseman out there by far. It's like basically the Hulk versus I don't want to be to offend anybody out there, but it's the Hulk versus Papa Smurf at third base.
Wait, who are you offending? Hulk fans or Papa Smurf fans?
Well, It's just like all the free agents out there at third base.
I know. Oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean, it's just not even a
wait.
comparison. I mean, Bregman is a potential all-star, even though he's a Gold Glover, and he's just not on the same level with the rest of the free agents out there. I know Suarez, if he opts out, I'm not sure what's going on.
No. Suarez got picked up by the
He did?
by the Diamondbacks. Yes, and I think that might have happened, and I didn't realize it. But yeah, I saw it today, and I was gonna. I'm glad you said that because I was gonna actually add that to the mix because I've been talking about him quite a bit. So this is what Spotrac says that Alex Bregman's what he's expected to get. His market value is right at $30 million per year, Eric. 4 years, 119. We know Spotrac's not always the most accurate, but it is a metric to look at nonetheless. I mean, Manny Machado, dude, got 11 years, but he was like he was 30 when that contract happened. The other three that compare to him, Matt Chapman 3, Chris Taylor 4, and Jimmer Candelario 3 years. And those are all different age ranges, different guys. But when you look at where Alex Bregman is, Eric, here's the thing: he ranks higher in them in a lot of areas. He's lower in Ks per 9. He's got one of the highest OPS. His WAR is up there, just under Manny Machado. So he's one of the best in the league.
Yeah, and Bregman, like a couple of the insiders actually, I think you said 4 out of 6 or 4 out of 8 actually said that they see him returning back to Houston. So I do think it's a possibility, but it's going to become a lot harder if they don't sign him by tomorrow's deadline, because then you have to face everybody else. Now, if the Yankees, I think the Yankees are going to be involved with the Soto crisis. So we'll talk about Gerrit Cole in a little bit, but there's going to be other teams that are going after him. The Diamondbacks are definitely going to be interested. The Yankees are possibly going to be interested. You also have the Nationals. They probably have a lot of money throw at him. The Mariners and the Tigers probably have a lot of money throw at him too. So the question is, which team does he feel like that he has the best chance to win? The Tigers, of all these teams, I know the Yankees, but how many times has Alex Bregman seen the Yankees just kind of fall short? Yes, they made it to the World Series this year, but Alex Bregman may not want to go play for the Yankees just because of everything he's witnessed over years. But the Tigers are a team that I think, especially AJ Hinch over there, with what they did this year to make it to the playoffs in the first place. That's my wild card if he doesn't come back to Houston.
Well, my wild card could be, and I have to go back and look at the MLB standings, because if I remember correctly, this last year there was a team that where are we? Okay. So they were 20 games under 500. The Washington Nationals, they did have some success, and they've got some young players on their teams. Ari Alexander said that he thinks they could be a dark horse. They could be in a position to offer him a lot of money. They could make other free agent moves that really set the tone for that club. And so I think what we have to do in evaluating, if we're into predicting stuff or where people are going to go, right, is like who's got the most money and who is going to go out there and spend that money. Because Eric, Blake Snell has now opted out. Hernandez has not announced what he's going to do. Patrick Corbin is out there. Charlie Morton is out there now. You have, Kenley Jansen is out there. Montas, Max Fried is out there. I mean, you've got all kinds of Yohan Moncada. You had mentioned that, Eric. And although I don't like his strikeout rates, I wonder if someone like him would be a decent pickup for his bat. Luis Severino. I mean, this free agency is going to be massive, because the Astros have the opportunity, I think, of all the people that are out there, I think they can get in back their Japanese, our favorite Astros Japanese player ever, Yusei Kikuchi, bring him back into an Astros uniform. But if you sign Bregman, if you bring in Yusei, does that mean what do you do if you want Valdez? What do you do with Tucker? People are saying, well, gosh, we could sign Santander. No, Santander's going to get paid. Santander's going to get overpaid.
Right.
I think he deserves a big paycheck, but I think he's going to get overcompensated, and that typically happens.
Hey, Brett, there's a big time slugger that I didn't think we would hear linked to Houston Astros, but he was linked to Houston Astros in an article. Talk about that next. Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and subscribe to us and become an everydayer.
That's why this episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app today and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. You do probably look at me and say, but Brett, there's no Astros baseball. That's okay. It's not just for baseball games. It's for football games. It's for basketball games. The Rockets are in full swing. Whatever you want, theater, comedy shows. Look, they give you seat views. They give you the lowest price guaranteed. They have a ticket coverage that is the most flexible in the industry, and you can buy the tickets right before you go. You don't have to plan months in advance. Just download the app, create the account, use the code LOCKEDONMLB, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create that account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Trust me, because I've used it. You can too.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. Go and check out Sully over at the Locked On MLB podcast. If you want talk other than the Astros, go and check him out. He has he's an encyclopedia of baseball knowledge. So not just Astros, but everything from all the way back to 1978. He can tell you exactly what happened in World Series that year. So go and check out Sully over the Locked On MLB podcast. So I know that we've been focusing a lot about Bregman, but if the Astros decide to go ahead and put their money elsewhere, there are other options. And I know that Pete Alonso is somebody that a lot of teams are going to go after. But the Astros do have a big need at first base. Yep. If Bregman leaves, technically you could put Whitcomb over there. Give Matthews maybe half a season to show what he could do at third base at AAA. And then if Whitcomb doesn't show anything, maybe you can bring up Matthews, or at the trade deadline, trade for a third baseman, or bring in a cheaper option like a mentor for Shea Whitcomb, or do something cheaper. But Pete Alonso in MLB, I think Mark Feinsand wrote an article of where he thinks these are just guesses and that there's some logic that goes into it. But Pete Alonso was number 7 on that list. And one of the 3 teams that was listed was the Houston Astros, along with the Mets and the Cardinals.
No, look, so listen to this list of first basemen that are out there. And I'm not going to mention one just because. Goldschmidt, who you mentioned before, Pete Alonso, Anthony Rizzo, Josh Bell, Christian Walker, who just won his 4th straight Gold Glove or 3rd straight, Ty France, Carlos Santana, Joey Gallo, Ryan O'Hearn, Yuli Gurriel, who is 40, and Miguel Sano. There's another Cuban that is listed, but I won't say his name out of respect for the Astros. But Alonso, yes, don't say it. Alonso, I've always been a fan of his. Now, personally speaking, I would love to see Pete Alonso in an Astros uniform. I just don't know if they are going to have what it takes to offer him. Now, if they can make other moves and because they've got holes kind of all over the field, Eric. It's not just one or two places. They've got a short center field. Is Bregman coming back? I mean, if you bring back Bregman and you sign Alonso and you bring back Yusei Kikuchi, I think it's a pretty good offseason.
What if, Brett, they're able, don't yell at me, guys, but what if they're able to trade Framber Valdez for not only prospects, but for a young center fielder that you can maybe not build around, but use for the
Are
next few
you
years.
saying that you like the idea of trading
No,
Fromber?
I'm just saying that that Dana Brown has been saying you have to get creative, and you have to find some way to save money. And if you're not going to re-sign Framber Valdez, get something for him. I'm tired of losing all these guys and not getting crap for them, except for a compensation pick in between the certain rounds.
Yes. I'm listening to myself from past shows, and that's what I've been saying, dude. I've been saying that because I don't think they have the intention of signing him long term, Eric.
Right.
And I haven't wanted to get rid of Fromber because he's not any good. I think there were times I was frustrated. I was like, well, gosh, we're not going to keep him. Just go ahead and trade him right now. But in all seriousness, he did a really good job. He did an admirable job, had a good season this last year. And he is a guy that, like you state, and I mean, I think we've stated it before multiple times from different angles, that there is value in that. There is value in getting people back that can play for you now. Your center field, yes, Jake Myers was in the Gold Glove conversation, but he has zero arm. He's got zero arm strength. He's not consistent enough at the plate. Chas McCormick is a fan favorite, but beyond that, he's not a top flight center field guy. You need a guy that has a bat. You need a guy that can hit. And so if you start going into that realm, Harrison Bader, 30 years old, Eric. Harrison Bader, I think, would be a hell of a person to look at. And I mean, and then you got Kevin Pillar and Aaron Hicks. Those don't interest me at all, or Jackie Bradley Jr., 34. Those other guys are 35. Harrison Bader's 30. He was previously worth 10 million AAV. Why couldn't you bring Harrison Bader in and do something like that? He said, y'all need to stop this Alonso fantasy. No, look.
Give me Christian Walker. Give me Paul Goldschmidt.
I don't care.
Give me somebody at first base. If you're going to lose Alex Bregman, you got to replace the offense somehow. And I know Goldschmidt is not the same Goldschmidt he was, but like I said, if you bring him home, who knows what he can do? A homecoming could be like just a homecoming could do him good. I think that Christian Walker, you could get him for a 3-year deal. I think somebody said Jim Bowden mentioned him coming to the Astros. I forgot what the deal was that Jim Bowden said, but I think Christian Walker would be great. If you can't bring back Alex Bregman, you got to replace his offense somewhere. Shea Whitcomb may be the guy, but he didn't really show that much at the big league level, but he could.
Well, look, and all we're just going off of is what people are talking about and mentioning who's available.
Right.
Does Steve Cohen let Pete Alonso go? I don't know.
What if he signs Alex Bregman? And I mean, even Steve Cohen has a limit of how much he wants to spend.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Well, I think the Mets, I believe, are not in need of Alex Bregman's services at this point. But I understand what you're saying there. There are just
what if they go after Juan Soto?
Do what now?
What if they go after Juan Soto? I mean,
the Astros?
No, the Mets.
Oh, the Mets. I think Juan Soto is going to be talking. I think Juan Soto probably is going to be talking to the Dodgers. I'm sorry.
I think he's going to the Pirates. That's what I heard.
The Pirates? What are you
or the Reds
about?
or the
A's? Oh my goodness, Eric, you can't just throw stuff out there. But hey, I don't know if y'all know this. A random World Series trivia. Both Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani hit under 200 in the World Series this year.
Yeah.
Was not good. Both of them were like 188. Crazy.
Chris Reyes gets my sarcasm there. Thank you, Chris.
Soto to the Marlins.
Yes, thank you, Chris. Somebody gets what I was trying to do there. But definitely a situation where the Yankees are trying to re-sign Gerrit Soto, or Juan Soto, as we say it. But so Gerrit Cole opts out of his contract. And a lot of people said that he possibly wants to go somewhere else. He's frustrated with how things are going in the Bronx.
I would have been pissed, dude. The way things went for him, that was he was.
You remember how he did to the Astros when he basically changed hats like right after the game? That's basically how I could see Gerrit Cole after that series with how that game finished up. But part of it was on Gerrit Cole. He should have covered first base. But the Yankees have till 4 p.m. tomorrow to match, to give him a fifth year at $36 million to retain him. If they decide to do that, then the contract basically comes back and he stays a Yankee, or else he becomes a free agent. That would totally disrupt the whole free agent market if Gerrit Cole hits it. No, I don't think he'll be coming back to Houston, but I think that it would definitely raise the pitching market.
Yeah, look, I think the Astros make a splash with Bregman, and I think I see Kikuchi and Bregman coming back. I just do, and I think Dana and Jim have something up their sleeves. I think there's going to be a November or December surprise from the Houston Astros before next season. That's my thought.
If the Astros don't make any big splashes, they don't sign any big time free agents. Sign Tucker, sign Valdez. You can't let all these guys go. But if you go out and sign a big time free agent, you got to come up with the money somewhere. And the Astros are already over. I mean, not over, but they're getting close to luxury tax threshold. So we have all offseason talk about this. And tomorrow we'll talk about whether the Astros were able to reach an agreement before the deadline. But I think we all know the answer. So, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go and subscribe to us. Make us first listen on the Apple, Odyssey, Spotify. We'll see you tomorrow. Go Stros.
Go Stros.